Hi, my name is Kevin Smith. Welcome to my video for image optimization. Today I'll be looking at techniques to lower file size while saving image for the web. This has been a critical part as a web developer. How do we looked at making sure that our file size is at smallest and while giving the user a very rich experience in terms of functionality as well as the result we want the user to experience. I'll be indulging in a technique using Photoshop as well as Illustrator to give you a quick demonstration of possible PNG and JPEG. So stay tuned, look forward to doing this with you. Here we go. I'm demonstrating here how to reduce the file size of a JPEG image, and I'm going to be using for a web scenario. So right now you're looking at the file I'm going to be using, the cables JPEG. The file size right now, it says JPEG is 1.2 megabits, and that's a huge file. You really don't want to be having such a huge download for any user at all. So I'm using Photoshop to reduce the file size and optimize it for my web use. So this is the image that I've opened in Photoshop, and I'm just going to be quickly running into this. So what you want to be doing is, Photoshop has a preset saved for web. If I was doing this manually, I just want to make one point that you always want to make sure that the DPI is at 72 because you're using it for viewing purposes. So you want to make sure that your image is optimized at 72 DPI. So I'll be doing going to the export file, export, and I'll be using the save for web. And save for web is almost like a preset. There are certain things built in. The DPI is already built in. You can set your quality of the image, and you can also preview that. I've had the 4 up here just to show you the different screens size and the different quality that you get at different sizes. Critical here, if you notice, it shows you based on the size how long will it take to download on a certain connection. So I've had it here for a 1 megabits bits per second download, which shows you 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, and at 70 quality it will take 5 seconds, and readily at 70% of the quality, which would represent high, my image is 451 kilobits. That's pretty much almost a little bit on 50% of the size of my original image already, but I wanted to even make this a little bit smaller, so I'll also reduce it by 50%, which is reduce the width and the height by 50%. And yes, I'm selecting JPEG there, and I could probably try very high, would move it at 80, and this is saying it would take about 6 seconds. So I'll probably go with high, which is about 70, which is not bad. And it just says 60, so what I do 70 here, and just quickly I'll just click save, and I'm gonna replace this because I've done this before, and I click save, replace, and if I quickly open up this image on my desktop, you'd see that it is greatly reduced in terms of the file size. So this is now saying that my file is now 175 KB, which is, I would say, about 10% of the file that I originally had. So that have reduced an experience for the user. I mean, it's a faster download the user, especially for mobile devices. So there you have it for reducing my file size for the JPEG, saving for the web. Here I'm also optimizing and reducing my file size for my logo that I'll be using scenario for the web. So CB Foods, I want to optimize this and reduce my file size used for web. There's actually 2 options I could have used. I'm going to demonstrate the PNG format here for the web, but also new format could have been utilized is also the SVG, which has become commonplace, especially if you want to make it remain a vector-based object. But I find PNG to be pretty, still gives you that quality, and I really don't have a great issue with PNG. I rather use SVG for more like iconic graphics, etc., that type of thing. So I'm using Illustrator here. So again, we go to File and we could select we could say Export, and we still has that option. There's a new feature here called Export for Screen, but I'm not going to that. But we could say Save for the Web just the same. And of course it generates, and we're going to be selecting PG and G24, and select transparency, and of course I'm going to be reducing this file size. I need this to be, say, about 450 by that pretty much, and we could do it by percentage as well. Art optimize, pretty much, and then I'll be able to click save. You could preview if you wish, just to see how it's generated here. And this is just a preview to show you what's going on here. Clearly this is 14.5 kilo. This is pretty much a small file size, and I'm pretty much the logo would even be smaller, but just to demonstrate that. So I click save, and just save into my RMO folder just for, and I click save, and there you go. And just to quickly demonstrate again, we go back to, this is PNG 24 dimension, 450 by 582. Most logo would even be this big for your basic website. So, and I'm just, the size, very small file size, doesn't take much time to download. That's probably less than a second to download. So that's one way if you are saving a PNG, reducing the file, and using the application Adobe Illustrator. So there you go.